Spectrum Health and Human Services is located throughout Western New York. For an appointment, call 716-539-5500. If you are in a crisis, you can call 716-710-5172. Their website is www.shswny.org.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful episode with Spectrum Health and Human Services. In this, I believe this is the 4th episode with Spectrum. I sit down with the Health Home Care Coordination team, and the 3 gals that I chop it up with are Amanda Cepeda, Kristen Estrada, and Tara Riedern, and we have an awesome conversation, and I'm going to give you the contact information for them now, because my assumption is most people don't even listen to the outro. Once that music starts playing, they probably cut it off and go on to their next podcast that they're going to listen to. And so basically in this episode, we talk about how you can get connected with some counselors and the team members at the Health Home Care Coordination Program. And you would be contacting originally to get referred and to get set up Kristen Estrada. And you can contact her Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. And that phone number is area code 716-539-5465. And you can figure out how to get into the program. And this program is going to really just get you set up with somebody to find either living, to set goals, to obtain the goals that you want to set, and everything else. And their website you would get in touch with is www.hhpwny.org, and that is the Health Home Partners of Western New York.org. So be sure to check that out. Make sure you give this episode a listen. Really had a beautiful conversation with them, and they do a lot for the Western New York community. And I think we can all get some information out of this, and you can pass it along to either yourself or somebody you know who could really use it. So enjoy this. Thank you for listening, and I love you guys. Keep strong, stay positive, try to stay encouraged, learn from your mistakes, and all that other jazz that I like to pass along to you guys that I'm learning in my own life. All right, guys. Peace out. Later. It has, yeah. No, things have been pretty awesome over the last year and a half.
Cool.
So it's been exciting. But this isn't about me. This is about what you gals are doing here at Spectrum. So we'll kind of just go around the room real quick with a cheesy introduction, and just, your names and, what your position is here. And I know this is about the care coordination program.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, talk a little bit about that, and we'll kind of go through what you guys do, what you're excited about, what you're passionate about, and what you love about this place and what you're doing.
All right. You're looking at me, so you want me to go
we'll
first?
start with Amanda. Well, you're right across from me, so you're probably going to be the one I always start with.
Oh, great. All right. My name is Amanda Cepeda, and I am the Director of Health Homes here at Spectrum. What else do you want to know? You want to know what we do, or you want to just go do the
we'll kind of do a quick introduction.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we'll go to Kristen over there.
I am Kristen Estrada. I am the Senior Outreach and Engagement Specialist for Care Coordination.
All right. Kristen, and then Tara.
Yes, I'm Tara Riedern, and I am also a director of the Health Home Program.
Beautiful. All right. And how did you guys get started with this program? What is it about?
Well, I've been with this program for about 15 years. It's changed quite a bit since when I first started. It was initially just the care coordination program, and then some things changed about 7 years ago, which implemented the health homes. It's basically just having to do with how it's funded and such. So some changes came with that change. And so we grew tremendously pretty much overnight with that change to health homes. So, but it's always been the same theme is, helping folks and trying to bring out the best in everybody and help them reach self-defined goals. That's always been kind of the theme, even with the changes over the years.
And so does it involve finding people housing?
Sure.
Or is that just one little aspect of it?
That's one little aspect. It's really about helping anyone with whatever. It's a very individualized program. So it's about helping folks with whatever it is that they identify wanting help with. So certainly housing could be an issue that they have. They maybe are looking to go to work, go to school. It might be as simple as securing benefits, you name it, really. They kind of drive the car as to what it is that we work on.
Okay, so someone kind of just comes in and sits down with you gals and says, I want to accomplish this, and that.
Right.
And
yeah.
you just find ways to help them do that?
Yep,
Sure. Well,
absolutely.
actually, it kind of starts with Kristen. She's the outreach person. She is the senior outreach person. So she kind of outreaches, just like the title says.
So, Kristen, you go out and like find people?
Yeah, so we get referrals that come in from various locations. We get referrals that come in from the county. We get referrals that come from state incarceration facilities, other outside agencies and providers. A lot of times we work with the hospitals, the local hospital, especially ECMC, to get referrals in from the psychiatric unit. So my role is to really try to engage them about the services, market it, I guess, you could say. And then I will meet with them first. So I'm really the first face that the person sees. And then from there, we kind of do a brief assessment on what their needs are, what their goals are from there, check to make sure they're eligible for the program. And then once all that stuff is done, we complete some eligibility paperwork. And from there, then they're assigned to their actual care coordinator.
Okay, and that would be one of you two? How many of there are you?
No, it
How
would
does it
be, there's about 30 care coordinators, I would say,
Okay.
on the floor. So we have different little pocket programs that go on within the program as well. So some care coordinators, we have Health Home Plus, AOT, HARP. So there's different little pockets within.
Inside the whole tree?
Yes.
Yep.
So depending on which, whoever Kristen may see, that's how it gets determined on who it goes to.
All right, and then that's it. Like, you're obviously not that's it, but you're
Right.
the final step, and you work with them until their goals are. What's the end game? They accomplish what they need,
Well,
and they move on, or
when they accomplish what they need, when they really don't need us anymore, when they can live independently within the community. And we do more than just making sure they have housing and food. With somebody's life, they need to be happy too, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we don't want to just make sure that they go to their doctors or they go to social services for the benefits. We want them to really get the full picture of their life, I guess, if you could say it that way. So, an example I used to use with my clients was, if you want to join a bowling league, let us know. We'll try to help you get into a bowling league or, join the Y or whatever you enjoy to really just improve your life as a whole. Mm-hmm. You can go to the doctors all you want. If you're not happy, you're not happy. You need to do something enjoyable for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's more about looking at the whole person.
It's the whole person, right?
Yeah, and I found that I think the first episode I did was with Kevin Beckman.
Yes.
Downstairs, and we did it on the Holistic Health Project, and we talked about how it's just so centered on the individual. And I find it's one of the most difficult things with substance use and mental health is that it is so individualized. Like, you have to, it's different for every single person, and that's the biggest challenge of it. What are you going to do, and what you have to do to help somebody improve their existence is different for every individual. And I enjoy that challenge, but sometimes it can be frustrating. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's awesome. I love the whole focusing on one individual and what they need, and help them get a bowling league, whatever it is to make their life better.
Whatever it takes.
Because I love that point is you can be healthy all you want, but if you're not doing something you enjoy in your life and not having fun, then you're miserable.
It's a moot point then.
Yeah, it's pointless. Yeah.
And we also kind of meet people where they're at. We're more of a community-based program. I don't know if you are aware of that. So people certainly can come here to meet with us, but we go into the community to meet with them. We go to hospitals, their home, treatment facilities. Sometimes we'll meet with people at McDonald's or Tim Hortons. It's really...
Yeah, I love that part of it too. Mm-hmm. I remember I was talking with another Spectrum episode I did as well with Brittany Derry, who is over on the Seneca Street. Mm-hmm. And she talked about that. And I think that's such a cool process of going to people's homes, because that's the first hurdle you come across is some people just, I remember when I was using or even getting clean on my own, in my first attempt of getting clean, I didn't want to do anything. I put everything off. Walking down to the grocery store or whatever it was, whatever, I'll do it tomorrow, and you don't want to do anything. And that can tumbleweed into...
Yeah, that can be a barrier to, so we try to knock the barrier down by meeting them where they're at.
Yeah, that's great.
It also gives us a hand, too, to see their surroundings. You know, they can come to an office and talk to a counselor or anything. And, you know, it's in a small little room. You're talking about, you know, whatever, but we can go out to the homes. We can see where they're living, what they really need to really improve their lives. So that's a really great aspect of being able to go out into the field.
Do you find like people become more vulnerable and open when you go out to their homes and everything
for sure.
else?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like it is kind of intimidating sometimes to come into an office and then sit down and you feel almost obligated to talk about something maybe you don't
Right.
really want to talk about. And yeah, I think that's a really awesome concept.
Right.
That is really cool. So what else does this care coordination, you know, look like? You said there's different like pockets of different programs like HARP and stuff like that. Do you find that does it spread out a lot? Is there a lot of different things going on as far as that?
I think there are a lot of different things going on, but like I said earlier, it's all kind of the same goal. It's all trying to help people reach self-identified goals and to live a happier, healthier life. But we reach a lot of folks. We have the HARP program, AOT, Health Home Plus, but really those are just kind of, how would you explain?
Yeah, that's tough.
It's hard to explain the difference between it, but there's certain diagnoses that would qualify folks.
So you would sense, so if somebody just, for instance, needed help with housing, do you have a special group that helps with just housing or?
No, it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
It's more so like AOT program. It stands for Assisted Outpatient Treatment.
Okay.
And so that was brought about in the late 90s. There was a situation in New York City where a person with schizophrenia was unmedicated and pushed a woman named Kendra under the subway. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But what was born out of that was Kendra's Law, and that's what AOT is. So
Okay.
basically what it means is you can be court mandated to receive mental health treatment and medications if you're deemed to be a person that may be a threat to yourself or others.
Okay.
So we have about 5 care coordinators that work with the
Deal
AOT
with that.
population. So there's different parameters for them. They're seen weekly. You know, we could call if they're not doing well and have them get a pickup order to go to the hospital. But certainly, like, there's no differentiation on the goals that they work on. So, you know, housing wouldn't go to this program or that program. It's just kind of, so that's
Per like
AOT.
counselor, per care coordinator.
Right. And then the HARP
Yeah.
program, you would probably be able to explain a little better, is more so of folks that kind of have a higher utilization of ER and hospitals.
Yeah. So HARP is higher need clients that aren't court mandated, but they're identified by the state. So the state lets us know if these people qualify for the HARP program. And really what HARP is, it helps get them services much quicker than regular care coordination. So we know that these clients are higher need, maybe a higher risk level, for suicidal or homicidal thoughts. So the process is sped up with the insurance companies to
Okay.
approve specific services such as peer services or learning how to live within the community, daily living skills, education, employment. So, and it's very detailed work. So if somebody is linked up with an educational specialist through HARP, they're not only just going to find them a school that they can go to, they're going to be with them during their schooling to help them if they need any additional help with studying or
Okay.
anything
Yeah.
like that. So it's really detailed work that we do with these higher need clients.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is really cool.
I remember when I was in rehab, there was people who were using needles and stuff like that would be pushed ahead to get into
Yeah.
rehab, and there was more concern with the opiate addicts. And I remember I went in front of a huge list of people to get into rehab because of
your
an
risk.
opiate addiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it's important. I could do a whole podcast on the fact that we have to wait for health insurance approval for anything, but that's for another time.
Right,
Sure.
right.
We'll save that for some other time.
And that's the good thing with HARP is that the insurance companies actually work with us. So they're not fighting against us saying, no, we can't give that service to that person. I haven't come across a time yet where they've denied
where they're denied.
service.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
When I was living in an Oxford house, people would call up all the time, and I'm leaving the village, and I ask them how long they've been there. It'd be, 2 weeks. Oh, why are you leaving 2 weeks? Because my health insurance said I don't need
Yeah.
it anymore. And I'm like, what is that?
Right.
That is crazy to me that some person with a sheet of paper who doesn't know who you are determines
Has
that
no
you don't
inside
need
knowledge.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, so
Just-
true.
So, but yes, that's another episode anyway.
Yeah.
But so tell me why you guys got into what you got into, why you're passionate about it,
Wow.
what brought you to this point, and what you get out of doing what you do.
Wow.
Whoever wants to start.
I was just always passionate about helping people. I'm kind of an empath by nature, so I've always felt people's energies around me and have always cared a great deal about folks and have always wanted to help. So that really was just my passion from a young age, and it kind of shaped the way for who I would be as an adult. So I would say, in short, that would be kind of what brought me to the field.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. What about you, Kristen?
Well, I actually started here in 2008 as a part-time secretary.
Really?
Yeah, and I just kind of advanced throughout the years, and it just kind of naturally fell on my lap. It's something that I'm good at. I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at marketing, I guess, getting out there, and, I'm not really scared of different neighborhoods or approaching different people. So that's not a barrier for me. And I kind of just grew with Health Homes because I started it from the very was in it from pretty much the very beginning. So I've kind of turned this position into my own, which is nice. So it's like my little baby. It's just me, and I kind of get out there on my own means. I do a walk-in clinic too from, through Monday through Friday here from 8 to 10 a.m. So if anybody's coming in off the street, they want services or a referral may have not been necessarily put through, we definitely won't say no to them. We'll get them services if they meet eligibility. It's just kind of something that, again, I just fell in love with, and the people here are pretty cool too.
Yeah, they are. They're from those that I've met, they are. Yeah, that's a really cool story, though, that you started off as part-time secretary.
And here I am.
And then created your own position.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. That's kind of what I'm trying to do, is create a job for just doing podcasts, and we'll see how it goes in the future. But
Seems like you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
it's starting to provide some kind of income, which is nice. But
Yeah. And side note, I didn't create Outreach. Outreach always existed.
that's true. Well, so did podcasts.
So,
But,
yeah.
You kind of just said,
I don't want to get yelled at for that.
well, why don't you kind of just like, why don't you pay me to go do this? It happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Hey, what about you, Amanda?
I have to agree with Tara to a point. I'm just an empath at heart. I've always felt people's energy. However, my calling didn't happen till later in life. I was kind of a screw up in my younger years. Refused to go to school, anything like that. So I actually went back for my undergrad in my 30s and got my master's degree in my late 30s. So I'm a little behind the game, catching up to everybody. But, it's always been a passion of mine. I just kind of veered off the main paved road for a while. And I found my way back. Here I am. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is definitely my calling. This is where I belong.
Yeah, that's great. I found, too, that everybody I kind of talked to that is in this job area has always said, I've always kind of had this from a young age where I've wanted to help people and liked helping people, which I guess in order to, as you guys know, in order to come in and do this for a living, you have to be able to do that, or else it ain't going to work out very well for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You have to care about wanting to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're certainly not paying millions of dollars for people to come in here and do this, so it ain't for the money half the time.
Sure.
In fact, I really kind of had discussions with people, I should say probably more debates and arguments, but I even yet to, from Horizon, Evergreen, Spectrum Health, I have yet to run into one person I've met that was just collecting a paycheck.
Right.
Oh,
And-
yeah,
and
absolutely.
I've been around since, almost 2 years now, from jail to here. Jail, I found a lot of people just collecting a paycheck.
Yeah.
After that,
Yes, that is very true.
after that, it was just nothing but awesome people. I went to an ATC out by New York City, and it was a floor and a half. They rented from a mental hospital, and it was terrible. The environment was terrible, but the people were still just caring and loving and wanted to help. I do find one of the biggest issues is people are overworked. In a lot of ways, I found that for the counselors that I've had, that they would spend less time on me if I was doing better and more time on the people who needed it, which is
Sure.
good. Obviously, you have to do that. But I feel like there's a lack of people in the industry, or there's just too many people who need to
One of
need
the
help
other.
from
Yeah.
this industry.
Sure.
And so I guess the ladder to cut back on would be a better one. But anyway, what issues do you guys kind of find that you see are the biggest need, the biggest hurdles that they come across?
Housing.
I would say housing is
Yeah,
probably
housing
the
is-
biggest thing that we're facing now as far as the greatest need.
Especially at winter's coming up.
With winters coming up, but too, I also think it's wonderful that Buffalo's kind of been reborn in the last 5 years.
Right, but the
you know,
loss
there's a
of
lot
housing.
of great things going on, a lot of renovations happening, which is wonderful. But I think there's a side that people don't often think of is that it kind of, you know, affordable housing is kind of going down. It used to be so that it would be cheaper to live in the city of Buffalo than it would be the suburbs.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, there's really
Not much of a difference.
it's
No, there
a
isn't.
lot more
Yeah.
actually.
It's a lot
in the
more.
city.
Especially if you
Yeah.
get into Elmwood Village and
Absolutely.
Allentown. And, yeah.
So that's kind of been a crisis for us as far as trying to find nice, affordable housing for folks. It's just the
Yes.
options are becoming lesser and lesser.
Yeah, very slim,
And
unfortunately.
haven't you would notice that in like the last 5
Oh
years
yeah,
even more so.
absolutely. Most of the clients I feel that I come across are it's housing. It's almost
Yeah.
always housing.
Yeah, I find that's very tough to find. Even
Mm-hmm.
with like Oxford houses, I find it very tough for women to find that housing a lot more so than men.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
in services in general, I have found I do some on-call work for Save the Michaels, and they'll have me drive a lot. And usually it's for their women's groups, whether it's the Lockport office or the Buffalo office. And I've been driving in Somerset and Madonna House and picking them girls up. And, you know, the conversations I have with them, there's just very few services, few things going on for women. I find
For
that's one of the
housing too, I
biggest.
think there's more rooming houses. There's some
Right, for men.
More
Right.
Yeah.
male rooming houses.
I mean, there's Oxford houses everywhere.
But even shelters,
Yeah.
there's more for men, you know, or specific to families than just women, unless it's like a DV shelter, you know, so that's a barrier too.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, I found that very much being a big issue in the area. I'm assuming probably the country
oh yeah,
as
for
well.
sure.
From some statistics that I've read, I think obviously more men struggle with addiction, but there still is nowhere near enough services for women out there. I definitely have found that. So other than housing, what else?
Transportation,
Transportation.
not so much like the transportation where you can, you know, need help getting to your doctors or stuff like that, but it's everything outside of that pocket. So a lot of people, you know, don't live on a bus line or have medical issues that, you know, prohibit them from taking a bus, just getting groceries, you know, or going to see a friend, stuff like that, or socializing. There's barriers with that. There's not a lot of places that will
working.
be, working
If you-
that can get you to those places outside of Medicaid transportation.
Yeah, which Medicaid obviously just gets you to your
Right.
appointments.
right.
Yeah. That's a
And
big
even
one.
that's a fight sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people struggle with that. Yeah, once again, I've been very blessed in that situation. When I got out of Horizon Village, about 3 months later, my sister bought a brand new car and gave me her Ford Taurus. So
oh, that was nice.
I have, yeah,
Good.
I've been a very lucky guy in my life. So it's been nice.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
I do find that that's a big issue. Even people don't even have, a lot of people don't have their license.
Right.
The Buffalo public transportation's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, unless, like you said, Kristen, unless you live on a bus line.
And that's why I think part of even meeting with people for outreach, I always tell them, I can meet you at home. You can come here. I can meet you in a public space, whatever you're most comfortable with. So I think, and I've, you know, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you would come to me. Yeah, absolutely. We'd come to you. So I think that just that conversation kind of breaks down some barriers too. And is like, wow, this place is willing to come to me and work with me and I don't have to go there. This isn't another doctor's appointment I have to attend. So I think that's helpful for people too.
I mean, because that's half the battle sometimes is just getting there. You know, if you
Right.
think about sometimes people have to take 3 buses just to get.
To get to one place.
And
Right.
not this, just that. A side note is we work with all of Erie County.
Right.
So we can have a client way south, you know,
Okay.
past Boston, past Springville, and there's no buses that go out there. Medicaid
Yeah, they're not getting
transportation,
anywhere.
95% of the time it refuses to go out there. So these people are stuck in the middle of nowhere because that's one, maybe the only place they were able to find housing, you know, decently priced. And two, there's just, you know, they're stuck there. So like she said, we go out to them,
Right.
you know,
And we-
because they do find it really difficult to come into the city.
yeah, and we do have I don't know if you're familiar, a care coordination program in Wyoming County too.
Yeah, I knew
So-
you guys had some stuff going on in Wyoming County. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember actually Heather when we did the peer advocate youth pro social episode. She was telling me about all the stuff that goes on in Wyoming County. Moving on to I had a topic and I got distracted. What I want to say, like going out in the community, and like you said, that's a huge opener
Right.
for when you run into people. And I think that's what people love is
Oh, yeah.
that, like you said, Kristen, that whole, wow, these people come to me.
Right.
They care that much. They want to help. And I think that is a huge, just open the door. Wow, this person's going to come to me, and why wouldn't I take this? If they're going to come to me,
Sure.
why wouldn't I take their services?
Right.
Which
And
is
I mean,
sweet.
just this morning, I met somebody at Pathways and then went out to Springville.
Yeah.
So, you know, my day could be all over the place. There's no really limits. I mean, if you want me to meet under a bridge, I'll meet you under a bridge. If that's, you know, where you're comfortable, I'm okay with that.
yeah,
And
that's
we
great.
have.
Yeah.
Met clients under
We have.
bridges. So, yeah,
Oh, that's got to be interesting. What bridge?
exactly.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, you guys are awesome here. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love everything that I am doing with you guys. It's been awesome meeting everybody and kind of coming in to get to know everybody personally and going around and talking with people. People are going to listen to this. What do you want them to hear about this care coordination?
I mean, I think that if anybody feels as if they need a little extra help, we would want to get it out there that we are, in summation of what we all just said, kind of a unique group of people that really care a great deal about folks, and we want to see the best happen for our clients. And I think that we have a great group of people up here that really go above and beyond to improve the lives of others. So I would just want to get it out there. If you feel as though you could benefit from the services, please call us. We'd be happy to chat with you on the phone to pre-screen, and to just come our way.
Yeah.
And this is the 1280 Main Street location,
Yes, on the
Third floor.
3rd floor. Yeah, I didn't realize when I was here before that, like, I thought it was just like offices up here. I didn't realize there's
Oh.
actually different like floors you go to. So what is downstairs then would be
Downstairs is our holistic health.
okay.
That's in the basement.
That's in the basement. In the basement, yeah.
The
and
lower
then
level.
The lower level,
yeah.
not the basement. And our Erie County ACT team
Okay.
is on the lower level, and then the first floor is clinic.
Okay.
And don't we also have CARES on the first floor?
I think CARES may have moved,
moved
to
to admin,
admin,
maybe. Yeah.
our
Oh, okay.
admin location.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second floor is the veterans, not associated with Spectrum.
Oh
but
yeah. Okay.
they're there
That's
as
right. I
well.
did see that. I think I parked in one of those spots. I hope my car is
You got
not
yelled
when I
at.
go out there.
Oh, there's going to be an email
We're gonna
coming
get an
out.
Is that a battle?
Seriously,
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sure.
They are
Oh, yeah.
sticklers with their parking
You're going to be the
spots.
first email that we've got about that in a long time.
Yeah,
I do. I see the signs out there. I'm like, well, I have nowhere else to park, and
yeah.
I
They
have a-
stock that.
You're lucky you
parking
got a
lot, too.
spot.
yeah,
general.
I did last time when I came here. I did, yeah.
Because you parked in the veterans.
No, I didn't the last time. I think, but I came like right at lunchtime, so I think there was like
Oh,
3
yeah.
or 4 spots open because of that.
Do you have a lot of upcoming podcasts with other Spectrum folks?
Right now I have one with Alyssa,
Yes.
For housing, yeah.
and then I'm doing one with Sydney and Bruce.
awesome.
When Sydney gets back on vacation,
Awesome.
I have that get lined up. Like I said, I'm trying to stagger them out right now as far as doing podcasts in general, because I want to get all my new equipment. I'm pretty excited about that.
You just can't wait to play with all
I
your
am
new
like
equipment.
I haven't been this giddy about anything for a long time. I feel like a teenager,
Aw, that's
preteen
awesome.
before Christmas, like getting his new video game system or something. So
Oh my God, I'm the same way though.
yeah, no, I'm pretty excited
Totally.
about it. And I found it's like I keep saying, oh, I mean technically it's not for free. I mean I worked hard to get to where I'm at,
Sure,
but
right.
you know I'm not spending a penny on it, and it's pretty awesome that just got that money just kind of
Yeah.
handed to me. So
That's nice.
You deserve it. You earned
which is
it.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great idea.
I love it. Well, I love it because it's obviously it's educational, but people can be listening to it while they're doing what they're doing all the time. I mean, you can listen to it on your phone while you're walking, while you're running, while you're doing laundry, dishes, whatever it is you're doing. You can be listening to this, and you can hear people's stories. You can hear what services are offered. You can hear, I've had my mom on here. I've had my significant other on here. I mean, I've had some of my good friends. I've had counselors. I've had CEOs. I've had just so many different varieties of people, and you can hear what's going on and what we need. What are the positives? What need to be changed? I'm not the only one going through this. I mean, I think those are all super important things. And, I tell people when they sit down to do an episode with me, one thing you guys say, somebody can just hear it, and that can just spark this whole change in somebody.
Right.
It's so
and,
true.
And that's all it takes. One person that's with a counselor, and they say, hey, listen to this new episode of Room 9, and they need somewhere to live, and they end up, oh wow, and so just so many awesome things that can just spiral out into that I'm very excited about. I've always kind of loved the podcasts, and I really think it's just a great way to communicate and educate. So I have a lot of different visions kind of for the future, but right now it's just kind of doing it and having conversations like this,
Excellent. You do a nice job.
which are awesome. I try. It's like an art form. It really is. That's why I told you before, I had my roommate from Horizons originally started with me. And once he realized it wasn't just sit down, talk,
Right.
record, post, he was like, all right, yeah.
I'm out.
He's like, I'm just going to stick with my construction job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because it's an art form to be a host.
You gotta
And
keep-
I-
Sure. Yeah.
And I find when I'm not consistently doing it, I get rusty. Like I remember that's why I tried to get too far ahead. I was probably like 3 weeks ahead because I'd release an episode every Monday. And so it was like 3 weeks since I did one. And I'm trying to think who I was sitting down with. But I was like, what the heck am I talking about? Like in my head when I'm doing this, like I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore right now.
All right.
Because I try to do a little preparation. Obviously,
Sure.
I want to be prepared. But I also like to keep it very organic and kind of let the conversation go its own way. So I try not to prepare too much where
Let
it's
it
like
flow.
I'm reading off a
Right,
script or
script.
anything.
Yeah, you can always tell those podcasts that read off scripts. They are literally the most boring podcasts ever.
It's
They really are. No, it really is.
it's
Even,
very obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so dull and
But
just monotone.
What
and
do you
bland.
mean, Amanda?
Exactly that, Kristen.
There is, and even if you try to like change your tone, you still know when somebody's reading
Yeah,
off a piece of
totally.
paper. I don't know what it is, but yeah, just like they're not saying that. The way I love ending these, I've been doing this with the Spectrum episodes. I asked this like cliche, like, if you could tell somebody one thing, the last thing you could tell them, what would it be? And this person gave like an awesome answer. So I've started kind of keeping that like a tradition of Room 9 episodes where it's like if you had that last opportunity to give somebody advice, to say something, whether it was encouragement, to help, whatever it may be, any kind of advice, what would it be? And I love putting people on the spot like that
Yeah.
because it's tough. Like, oh my gosh, there's so many. I find there's a general kind of theme that goes along with it, but I always love getting people's kind of ideas of what they would say.
I think things can always get better with just a little effort. Life can get better. Life is what you make of it. I mean, that's a silly cliche,
Yeah.
but it's
yeah.
so true. You want to put effort into it, you will improve. Life will get better. You will enjoy it more.
Well, it's about
But
changing
you
your
have to work at it.
changing your mindset.
Yeah.
Which is the hardest part. It's easy to change so many
Right,
things, but
it
when
is.
it comes to your thinking,
But we're here to help them do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to give them that encouragement and to show them that it can be done.
yeah, that was probably my biggest thing was changing my self-talk. Mm-hmm. How I talk to myself. Even with, I notice like when I knock over a glass and spill something, be like, Sean, you idiot. You say something long enough, you're going to start believing it. And I took that. I remember laying in this whole transformation for me really happened in jail. Those 6-7 weeks I was in jail. And I remember just like, no, I can't keep talking to myself this way. Mm-hmm. And it's just repetition. Just, all right, I've been in self-pity, calling myself shitty names for, 7 hours now. I'm going to stop. And then it was 6 hours, and it was 5 hours. I start catching myself, and eventually it's quickly into it. I mean, I can feel the emotions come on before the thoughts even come. Mm-hmm. Now, like, oh, wait, you're not going to go there.
Yeah, and I think once you're able to make that change, because that's hard to do if it's a habit to talk to yourself.
It's super difficult.
I think then other things follow suit and fall into place
Mm-hmm.
as soon as you make that conscious decision, to be nicer to yourself.
Yeah.
That would be something that I would say to somebody: just be nice to yourself and keep trying every day. Just keep trying.
That's huge because it's constant. We're going to all fail. We're going to all fail constantly, all the time. And as soon as you get into this self-pity, this worthless talk, goes nowhere. There's nothing. I can find a good in anything except self-pity. When you start talking bad, oh, poor me. And I spent, my brother and sister died when I was 15, and I spent more than half of my life since then, probably 15 years of that. Just, you know what? I shouldn't have to do anything difficult because I got dealt a bad hand.
Right.
You know, the universe owes me for
Right.
this, what happened to me. And I know so many people out there who think that way.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you can just change that mindset to, you know what, this really sucks, this is shitty, but what can I learn from this? What can I get from this? And do that while you're crying. I mean, I've found the power in crying, but when you take the time to learn from whatever it is that has happened to you, whether it's your fault or not, it becomes this beautiful like process. It becomes awesome. And I wrote a blog called My Paradoxical Addiction because I was thinking the one day like, oh my gosh, I've stole from my parents. I've stole my dead brother and sister's jewelry from my parents and pawned it for drugs. I've stole from my girlfriend. I've stole from her teenagers, and I've done all these terrible, messed up, effed up things. But yet, wouldn't be the man I'm becoming today if it wasn't for these stupid, messed up things that I did.
Absolutely.
And it's such like this paradox. And I've found just to kind of, you know, share with people that it's so important to any time you're in this situation, you know, look at it in that way. Like, all right, what can I get from this? Because
Right.
something beautiful can always come from it. And I think that's super
wonderful.
important.
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that with us.
Yeah, I think that's super important. Yeah. What about you, Kristen?
I'd have to say less fear, more courage. I like that because you always hear like people talking about when they're older. They wish they could have, they wish they could have, they wish they could have.
Regrets.
And it's just like, what? Why? There's nothing stopping us from doing anything. You know, we could try to do whatever we want to do, whether, you know, it's just something off a bucket list or a huge dream to achieve. I mean, fear will hold us back from doing almost anything. And if at least you give it something, give it a little bit of effort, then that fear kind of dwindles down. So if you face them with courage, then there's less fear and more courage, and there's more ability, more doors open to do the things that you want to do.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And I think it's usually kind of what we just talked about. It's a fear of failing, pretty
Right.
much, and really learning. I love there's this Eastern philosophical quote, like a Zen master has failed more times than anybody has tried. And I think it's just awesome to really, if you start looking at failure instead of being fearful of it as a teacher.
Yeah.
Failure is part of success.
Yeah,
Yeah.
failure is part of
I mean, you have
success.
to.
It's growth. You know, same thing that you said. I don't regret anything. What happened in my past has made me who I am today, and I cherish that. And I cherish everything that I've learned, you know, during any part of my life. And it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
It's when you get back up, brush yourself off, and do it again,
Keep kicking
and
ass.
again, and again.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's super important. Yeah, I love, and even I think about when I would get hard on myself for the things I've done to other people, how I've screwed some people and lied to people and manipulated them. You know, I've even taken that mindset and looked at it. That was, and not justifying the wrong things that I've done, just saying that was an opportunity. I gave them an opportunity to learn and grow from this.
Sure.
And if whether they take it or not, I mean, there's still some people who won't talk to me, and I mean, there's majority of people have kind of always known who I've been and have really accepted and supported me. But I mean, there's some people who won't. I have a really good friend of mine who I didn't even really steal from. I just manipulated him a lot, and I mean, he hasn't talked to me. I've known him since 5th grade, and I mean, he hasn't talked to me since this all kind of went down. So there's some people who aren't going to really get over it and take from that experience. But
Right.
I was talking to this psychiatrist, and she said that made a joke about taking something in her office, and she was like, "Oh, I would be flattered if you took that." I was like, "Oh, I hope somebody said that about their purse that I stole." And she went on to say that, like, you know what, you gave that person an opportunity, and it really opened my mind to that. Like, I mean, that's
Never
true.
looked at it that way,
Sure.
probably.
Yeah. No, you haven't, because you know it almost sounds like when you say it out loud, it sounds like you're just, "Hey, I gave you an opportunity by stealing that from you." You know, it sounds
Right.
It sounds stupid. I mean, really, it is. Not that it justifies my actions by all means. It was still wrong and messed up, but you know, you gave them an opportunity to do that. All right.
All
Well,
right.
what do we got? 50 minutes in.
Okay.
All right.
Excellent.
What do you guys? Last kind of information, how people get a hold of you?
That would be me.
That would be you,
Yeah.
Kristen.
So like I mentioned earlier, we have a walk-in clinic with me Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. They would just come in, do a very brief paper referral, just getting some demographic information. If everything checks out, they would meet with me. Usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get them enrolled in the program. If not, if you have anybody that is interested in the services or has any questions, even if they don't know if they meet criteria, they're always more than welcome to just fill out the referral, but I could be reached directly at 716-539-5465. So they can call me. I'm always in and out of the office, so please leave me a voicemail. I check them every day, and I'll probably get back to you within the business day or the following day.
Awesome.
Yeah, but that's where to start.
All right.
Yeah, you can also talk to, if you're in treatment, you could talk to your counselor about doing a referral, and then they can send it to us. So then the person doesn't have to come down
Right.
if they can't. So they can talk to their counselor, or I think parole officer or probation will do it too.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, not just Spectrum, but the
Yeah.
counselors from all over
All
other
over.
providers.
All over the place.
Yeah,
Okay.
if somebody wants specifically to work with Spectrum, they can send the referral over to us. I mean, some doctors' offices do it. We've had the DART program, Pathways. They send their stuff over to referrals. If somebody's in the hospital for medical reasons or psychiatric reasons, we have departments send over referrals for them as well, because it's nice to engage them when they're in the hospital. This way they have like that support right when they get out. It's a really nice transition to have that support put in place. So yeah, I mean, they can come from a million different places. And I believe that also if somebody wanted to do a referral through a website, they have to go through the Health Home website.
Okay.
There is a brief referral on there, and the administrative assistant of the Health Home would then follow up with them, but would send them out to the appropriate care management
What is the
agency.
Health Home website?
I believe it's hhpwny.org.
.org. Okay.
It's
Yes.
Health Home Partners of Western New York.
Yes.
I'll put it all in the
Okay.
info
Yeah,
too,
so they
just
can
as long
just
as I got the.
Google Health
Yeah.
Home Partners of
Yeah.
Western New York as well.
We're easy to find
Yeah.
if you're looking.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, you gals are awesome.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for sitting down with me.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
This has been fun. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll
Yes,
have to
thank you.
come back again when I have all my new and fun equipment
Yeah.
as well. So, all right, take it easy.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
thank
much,
you.
Sean.
Yep. And that's the end of that episode. Once again, the information to get a hold of the Health Home Care Coordination Team is Monday through Friday, the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. And the phone number is 716-539-5465. And you begin hold of Kristen Estrada. Leave a number, name, message, everything else. She will get back to you ASAP. And the website is www.hhpwny.org. And that is it, everybody. Have a great week. Have a great time. And I will be talking to you guys soon. All right. Later. Alligator. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Bye.